right. Hello, you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. I moved over a little bit because I wanted on the YouTube. I wanted to get the this this. Now I've got the other one in. It's just too wide. Anyways, welcome to a absolutely beautiful. I mean, you can see behind me. I will take it for granted. I will take this beautiful area for granted. I will just take it for granted. And on days like today, I'm always like, you know what? You shouldn't. Because as you can see behind me, it is way better than the area I grew up in for a New Year's Eve. Yeah, it's New Year's Eve. Yeah, New Year's Eve. It is. It is. It's New Year's Eve. You see, I finally found a good use for these beautiful glass cups. So what am I going to do here today? We are going. I don't think I've done this on a live stream yet. During the shipping break, I actually took some time to roast up the Mayor's Alishan oolong. Hey man, how's it going? And I don't know, how much should I rub it in the weather? How much should I rub in the weather? But it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it can't be New Year's Eve already. It is for me. It is for me. New Year's Eve. Today is New Year's Eve, the 31st. The 31st. And so it is New Year's Eve for me. And here in Hualien, because it's sort of the main town on the east coast of Taiwan, they always have fireworks shows and like some like think about B-level pop stars and then go down a couple notches. So like D level, some D-level pop stars come and do their crappy Asian pop music. Or I shouldn't say crappy Asian pop. It's outdated crappy Asian pop music. And and anyway, so what's a tea? It is the Mayor's Alishan Oolong. So if you bought tea from me in the past little while, you probably know the Mayor's Alishan Oolong, of course. It's been around for a very, very long time. Hey, how's it going? I got a very nice note from your mother. I'm glad she's enjoying the teas. And what I usually do with this tea is when I first get it in the springtime, I'll roast it. And then I'll have the Mayor's Alishan roast with a couple different levels of roast on the tea as it goes through. This year, the springtime pick was so exceptional, was so wonderful, was so beautiful. I didn't touch it. And I just have been selling it. I did a little roast on it. I did like about 8 hours at 75, 80 degrees. So I did a little roast on it just to make sure it was completely dry and just to give it just a touch of nuttiness in the background. But I didn't do, usually after that, I do an 8 hour at about 100 and then maybe a 4 hour at 120 just to sort of pump it up. Is the mayor doing well? He is. I actually feel kind of bad. Well, let me just finish the thought. So and then I do another about 4 hours at about 120 and then a last half hour at about 140. Just crank it up at the end. And that gives the sort of the mid-roast Alishan. How is the mayor doing? Well, the mayor is, I think he's doing okay. I feel bad because he sent me a message, I guess, in mid-November. And he's like, you know, usually he never, like every once in a while, if there's a big earthquake, he'll phone up and he'll ask how we're doing during the big earthquakes or during the big typhoons or when there was there was a landslide lake that broke about an hour's drive south of here, and it came down. It was all over the news. So he'd phone up and be like, "You guys okay? You guys okay?" So the mayor, you know, he phoned up, but I kind of feel bad because he phoned up, and actually I'll use the glass. I don't actually like drinking out of these, but you guys can see the color of the liqueur for these two teas. And he was asking if we needed any tea. And I couldn't buy any tea because at that point, that was the real doldrums. That was like the darkest time when we didn't know when we were going to be able to ship to the United States again and blah, blah, blah. maybe it was early November, I think it was. And he said, "We've got some wintertime tea. You want some wintertime tea?" And I was just like, "Dude, I can't send to the United States, so I can't buy any tea right now." I should ask him if he's got it left, actually. Anyways, point is, he's doing okay. He's spending a lot of time with his family, and I think he's out of politics. He's out of politics. So here we go. That is you can see here, this is the Mayor's Alishan Oolong. It's the most affordable, most classic. It's like the Alishan Oolong that we have on the site. And it is the Coca-Cola of Taiwanese teas, right? You've got upfront slight vegetal, mid-mouth, wide and buttery, thick mouthfeel, and then the aftertaste you get, depending on where you are in the steeps and how it goes, you get everything from fruit to a touch of floral. You can argue touch of floral, and then that little bite of vanilla sweetness in the back end. And this is Alishan Milk Oolong. This is it. It's the classic one. I had these huge bags of this, like this huge bags in the springtime because it was so good. I bought so much of it. Got these 18-pound bags of it, and I was looking at it. I've been looking at it, because I bought it in the springtime and it was selling great, and then everything stopped, so I couldn't sell any tea. I'm looking at these bags, going like, "What am I going to do with these bags?" So I opened one up and I roasted some of it. And anyways, it's almost done now. It's almost out. So we're almost out of the Mayor's Alishan. Not almost out. Like there's still there's a lot less than 18 kilogram bags laying around. Let's put it that way. And why am I drinking these two teas right now? Well, obviously this one is, this is my humble brag where I have to talk about this tea, the house roast that I roasted myself, right? The house roast I roasted myself. And then these two are going to be going in this month's subscription box. Roasted teas. This month, the roasted tea box will be Mayor's Alishan Oolong and the house roast Mayor's Alishan Oolong, so you can compare and contrast to see what the roast did to the tea. There will be a blind tasting of the regular golden Mutsa Tieguanin and the competition, last year's competition Mutsa Tieguanin. I can't remember. I have to look back. I might have done the same thing last year. But anyways, it works really well. Blind tasting. Can you tell the difference between the normal one and the competition one? Do you care? Do you enjoy? Do you prefer those two? Then there will be this year, if I keep talking a long time, then I've also got, this is the Su Sampien stuff. So this is the Su Sampien's Oolong that if I still need to drink tea, then I'm going to drink some of this because it's beautiful, especially on a day like today. And I wrote them all down. I think that's it. I think that's the 5 teas that are going to be in next month's subscription box, if I remember correctly. And I'm going to, this is a really expensive tea, but I'll do like 10 grams of it. But I might add another tea and do 5 grams of this. I haven't decided yet. Anyways, that's going to be next month's subscription box. And there's now that we can send to the United States again, a lot of people are buying subscriptions. But usually people buy subscriptions this time of the year for for presents as well. It's a great present. So here you can see sort of the color of the liqueur. I probably should put them together, shouldn't I? Anyways, it's a little bit darker. You can see it's a little bit darker. Now, again, what's the difference between these two? I get this tea in the springtime. I roast this for about 8 hours at 75 degrees just to get rid of all the moisture out on this. Then this one, I waited until, I guess I did this in about October. And I took it out. It had already been roasted. And then what I did after that was I roasted it for 8 hours at about 95 degrees, 100 degrees for 8 hours or 6 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours. Depends on the weather of the day. And then I let it sit for a day or two. And then I do it again. And I go up to 110, 115, 120 around that for another 4 hours. And then at the very end, I crank it up to 140 for about half an hour, and that's this tea right here. Exact same tea, but with sort of a mid-roast on it. And the difference is some of the sweet flavors in here are caramelized. You got much more of a nuttiness. There's much more of a nuttiness. When the roast first comes out, there's a little bit of a sort of a kick to it, like an astringent kick with the freshly roasted tea coming out of it. But now, and you can see the golden sort of color is coming out. It's a little bit darker. But now, it is much more like most of the Alishans you're going to find actually on the mountain. Because on the mountain, they don't really have a lot of oolongs like this. Mostly because, today it's a here in Hualien. Let's see if you can see the airplane as it goes through. You see it? There it is. You can see it on. Anyways, you can see it on the YouTube. I don't know why you can't see it on. That's weird. Anyways, it is. That's like a 747. They've been introducing new flights in Hualien, so you can go directly from Hualien to Okinawa, Hualien to Korea, Hualien to various other places. Anyways, they're introducing that right now. So there's new stuff out there. Also, I forgot. So there's been all that stuff with the with what the Chinese are doing the last couple of days. Not really something to worry about too much at the moment. Sort of the same thing that happens every time there's a new arms deal announced or that horrible witch Pelosi comes to visit. It's nothing really to worry about. But for the last couple of days, the planes didn't fly. So we've been very quiet here the last couple of days because the planes have just been chilling out, just chilling out, not doing too much the last couple of days. But of course, nothing to worry about in the context of sort of the big geopolitical stuff. If I was in Venezuela, I'd be much more worried than here. Let's put it that way. And cheers to living in this spot with this weather at this point in the in the northern hemisphere season. Cheers to that. So questions about the roast, questions about the flavors of this. Like I said, this is going to be going into the subscription box that will be going out probably on Friday. It might be. I'll probably get it out by Friday. I'll do most of the legwork today, do some of it tomorrow, and then probably get it out by Friday. It might be Saturday or it might be Monday, but I think it'll probably be Friday. And updates on the tea shop. We are still waiting on bureaucracy. So we are waiting on the company, the Mountain Stream Teas company, to have shifted from where we are right now, where I am exactly sitting right now on my back porch. We're waiting for it to move to the new shop. And once it moves to the new shop, then we're good to go. Once it moves to the new shop, then we will be able to move in, which is kind of exciting. But at this point, it's a little bit anticlimactic at this point. I'm going to start using this. I like this one better. It's a little bit anticlimactic at this point, simply because we've been waiting for so long. The first floor of my house is just boxes. It's boxes. There's various teas that I haven't released to the website that I'll only release in person. I bought t-shirts. I bought a bunch of these style t-shirts that will be for sale in the shop, right? So these t-shirts will be for sale in the shop. Thank you, Mr. P. Somebody just bought some tea. So I've got, when I do this, I'll go and I'll pack up another tea before I send them out today. And so I bought some t-shirts. There's going to be teas that will be released only in the shop, the tea balls, a bunch of other things. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the bureaucratic BS to move, and I'm hopeful. Where are the thumbs up stickers? Oh yeah. I gotta get to. I don't know. I have to in the local market, Mr. Hooper. I have to differentiate myself, and the AI made me look a little less European ancestry. So maybe we got to do it again, but make it like really, really. I have to differentiate myself because the AI stickers. Anyways, I should. I don't know if I can. Let's see if they're. I think I saved it. Let's see if I can find the. There we go. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Check this one out. There we go. What do you guys think? If you're on YouTube, you got to go over to the. Got to go over to the Instagram to see the beautiful AI generated new logo that we've got here. But I don't know what. I think I gotta differentiate myself a little bit more. Maybe more bald, no hat on, sort of like I am right now. Maybe I guess because there's not as many like sort of shavedy heady type of folks in Taiwan as there is in the West. But anyway, so yes, but that's a good the T-ball king. Yes, exactly. I think it needs to have like a shiny head for the T-ball king. But yeah, that's definitely on tap. We got to start doing that, getting huge posters and name cards and things. But yeah, the first floor of my house is just covered in random and strange things that I'm thinking about putting into the shop. So, I've got boxes of cups like this and, stuff like this. My, yes, my signature look. Yes, absolutely. That's what it's, I got to develop my signature look, right? Maybe if we can get this in the background as well. But this stuff like this, it's all sitting on the first floor. And I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm going to do because I have the aesthetic gifts of a, this is something I've been looking at the pictures of the packaging of other companies that sell tea. And they're all so beautiful. They're just beautiful. It's like beautiful boxes, like multicolored packaging, like everything about it is just gorgeous. And I just like everything I do is exponentially more functional than their stuff, right? It's functional, but it's certainly not beautiful. And so I'm going to have to work really hard in creating a beautiful tea space. Creating the beautiful tea space, I think, will be a lot easier than creating beautiful packaging, but we're going to do it. Problem with, of course, with beautiful packaging is the amount of space it takes to create beautiful packaging, and in general, the waste. I just can't justify it sending it across the world. And but I mean, if I got the packaging thing down, it would be in my new logo, I would have to have a gold head, right? If I got the packaging down, I'll tell you. But then again, if people are buying tea for the packaging, you're buying tea for the wrong reasons. It's my filter. It's my filter. My family laughs at me because in general, what is it? The classical way of saying is I don't suffer fools easily. And because of the way that I've developed this sort of company, the amount of fools that I have to suffer with Mountain Stream Teas is like none, knock on wood. Maybe two a year, right? Two a year where I'm just like, oh my God, twice a year. But my especially my wife, my children as well, they're very they're like, what's gonna happen? Because you're just gonna walk off the street, and so it's just gonna be random people walking into the shop. And I've already thought about it. I've already thought that I'm gonna have like a handout, like a laminated sheet of why are you in Hualien? How did you get into tea? Um, you know, like you know, why did you come to Taiwan? All of these questions that I know are just going to be again and again, like laminated sheet. Like, hey, come down, sit some tea here. You can read this while you sample the tea. When you're ready, just let me know, and I'll answer any other questions you have. That's in my mind. That's what I'm thinking about. And not to say that people who ask those questions are fools. That's not my point at all. It's just that it's going to be very, very different than interacting with the online tea community. And the online tea community is uh, amazing. You know, amazing. I think about it all the time. I think about the various things that could have happened. But with that rant, what it was triggered by, of course, was people who buy tea because of the packaging. Now, by no means am I saying that good packaging is bad. By no means am I saying people who do good packaging are bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if the only reason you buy the tea is because of the packaging, you're going to have a bad time. That's all I'm saying. And it's a mental block for me. It's a mental block. But yeah. Oftentimes I wish I was, well, no. Oftentimes I think it would be nice if I was a little bit more accessible to the West, in the sense of closer to the West, because I know there are people watching this, or like within one thing of people who are watching this or will watch this, who are like expert packagers, tea packagers, product packagers, expert. And if I put the word out, then they come and visit me. We could talk, and I'd pay the money, and then they could create a pack. But here, you know, it's so hard. I'm on my back porch, right? I mean, it's like, but with the shop, there'll be Taiwanese people, you know, that I'll be able to do that with as well. And that's what I'm kind of looking for. And I think I will hire somebody full time. I think I'm actually gonna do that for one of the first times in my life. I'd rather not pay extra for the fancy packaging just to throw in the trash. Absolutely. And that's kind of why you're here. That's the filter, right? Or one of the filters. One of the filters is if you know you need beautiful packaging. If that's what you need, then you know Mountain Stream Teas is not the place. And I know I could be really mean about it and write things about it and things like that. But like I said, I don't think there's anything necessarily and truly elementally first principles wrong with beautiful packaging. Absolutely not. But I have a mental block when it comes to the packaging. I really do. Because I have to ship around the world. I guess it'd be different if it was sort of locally produced and people picked it up locally. It'd be very, very different. Or if I was just shipping domestically. But the idea of shipping basically tinsel, the equivalent of tinsel all around the world, I just have a mental block against it. But I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'll just start pissing people off. I'll just start pissing people off. Again, it's the internet. I am by no means against beautiful packaging. It's just not something that I do. But who knows? If I can hire somebody to pull that off, you know, I just might be able to do it. I had that bronze place, Reishui honey fragrance black tea packaging, but that wasn't mine. And I literally sold that. So what's the story? I still have a couple of them around. Actually, I'm going to be able to buy some maybe tomorrow. It's about this big, like this. It was like a kilogram worth of packaging. And inside there was about 150 grams of tea. And I literally bought it because people asked me for beautiful packaging, and I can't do it. But that was beautiful packaging. And I was okay with shipping that around the world because it's like competition stuff. And you can put it on your wall. It's not going right in the trash. It's like you can buy it, you can put it on your wall, and you can be like, this is beautiful tea. This is, you know, I know about tea. Look at this. And then if you really like the person, you can take it down and open it up and take out the and go. Remember that the tubes? You'd go like this and be like that. Anyways, I'm probably going to get some more of those tomorrow. Tomorrow we're taking the day off. Well, I'm gonna take the family. We're gonna go for a hot spring. Drive down to my buddies in Raceway. See my buddies in Raceway and probably buy some. Actually, probably buy some. But yeah, no more ranting about packaging. What else is there? So, any questions about anything? Just throw them out there. Yeah, I actually turned down. I had the opportunity to buy some aged tea from the 90s, some aged Baozong from the 90s that was still in the original packaging, but I turned it down. And the reason I turned it down was because I think it was early 2000s. I can't remember, around like 20, 25 years ago. And the reason I turned it down was because those, the competition packaging oftentimes is whatever is coolest at the time and what is the most expensive at the time. And in the early 2000s, it was a lot of plastic. And so buying that aged tea, because it's all wrapped in the competition Baozong, like all wrapped in it, I don't think the tea would actually taste very good. I think the packaging, the plastic would actually leach into the flavor of the tea from that time period. And so I passed on it. Although, I'm going to get a bunch more of the 1970s oolong, because the 1970s oolong is, sorry, the breeze closes that door. The 1970s oolong has been aged in the right way, has been taken out and aged in the right way. So yeah, knock on wood, before I even say it, it looks like all of the packages that were shipped to the United States are getting through. Everything. So whether it was a normal package, whether it was a normal package, or whether it was a gift, or whether it was the free packing, or the free shipping, or the paid shipping, everything is getting through. Now there's a couple that are stuck somewhere, but other than that, out of all of those teas that I shipped, only a couple getting stuck, it's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. So it looks like they're getting through. So that's absolutely amazing. I'm going to be, I've also decided, I think, the springtime, I was thinking about planning a springtime harvest trip, and I think I'm going to change it to a wintertime harvest trip, maybe the first or second week of October, because of what I was mentioning before. I haven't been around people very much in the last couple of years, and I am a very, very strong introvert. So I'm an introvert. I'm very happy to be by myself. But I can be a very, very good host when I need to be. But I was not getting excited about welcoming a bunch of people and spending 7 days with them so early in my opening up phase. And so I am excited about doing it in the fall. So I asked myself, sat down, I was like, are you excited about, do you want to do this in April? No. Do you want to do this in October? Yes. And so I'm gonna do that in it's gonna be in October. So I'll put more details about that. And then, like I said, well, lots of time for people to plan it out. But it'll be first or second week of October is when we'll do that trip. And so there'll be the wintertime harvest of some of the places, and we'll be able to go to the Nantou Tea Show. And the Nantou Tea Show amazing, just an amazing experience. But we'll be able to do that. Speaking of packaging notes, I've had some unopened late 70s, early 80s flimsy cardboard-like packaging with plastic wrap, and it did have a cardboardy, musty aspect. I hope you didn't have to pay too much for it, but that is an issue for the original packaging stuff. I have a line on a tea shop that's I wouldn't say they're going out of business; they're just aging out. It's an interesting story, anyways. There used to be, they called it the China Trust Hotel in Hualien, and it was this hotel that was like a really decent, like 4.5-star hotel, sort of in this area of Hualien called Meiluan. And right across the street, there was this tea shop. Now, in the past couple of years, we've had so many earthquakes. One of the earthquakes basically cracked it, and so they had to knock it down. And then that tea shop that was across the street that got all the people from this relatively famous hotel going into the tea shop back and forth. They aged out. I think they're retiring, and so I've got an inn because beside them there's my friends have a bakery shop, and so I'm gonna try and go in there and see if I can get some stuff. And yesterday I was around that area. I sort of knocked on the door. No one was there, but I was like looking through the window, and they have like vacuum machines and things like that. But they've got the big clay urns. Urns? Maybe that's not the right word. Big clay pots. Let's not call them urns. The big clay pots, right? The big clay pots. I got a bunch of them. And so I'm like, ooh, I can get those, put them in my shop, throw a bunch of aged tea in there and do it the right way, because aging tea, like my job is, I am literally a gambler, right? I'm a tea gambler. Some of the gamblings is pretty good. Like with this tea, the Mayor's Alishan, sure thing. Like I don't have to worry about too much about gambling with this. The aged teas, however, are quite expensive. And if I'm going to age my own teas, it's a real thing. It's a real deal. And so if I'm going to be aging my own tea, I'm going to need the real deal, sort of these big clay pots to do it. And so I'm hoping that I've got a line on those clay pots, and I'll be able to get them. But I should talk to my buddy in Guangfu. Anyways, I should get some of those pots anyways. But the issue raised about aging tea is a really, really, really big deal. It's a really, really big deal. Like there is, for example, I've got some friends in Taoyuan, and they've got this, I mentioned before, but years ago, they've got 60-year-old tea. So teas from like from the 60s. And it's like, I tried the tea. I was like, whoa, this is so much fun. And I tried the teas, and there's no possible way I could buy them because they smell like incense, and they don't smell like good incense. They smell like the crappy, cheap incense that you would smell in a normal Taiwanese temple. What do they call them? Joss sticks? Anyways, it's incense. And the story, of course, being is that they would have had a warehouse or a house. And usually it's mixed between the two back in the day when Taiwan wasn't quite as wealthy as it is now. And every day you would have your family shrine. Sometimes, anyways, it gets complicated, but you'd have like the family shrine. There's all sorts of different flavors of family shrine that you could have. But what you would do back in the day was you would take an incense, and you'd light the incense every day, and you would stick it in there, and you would pray to the ancestors, to the house god, to various other things. It gets complicated, but you would pray to this, and you would light the incense every single day. And so if you had teas that were aging there in a burlap sack, or in a plastic bag, or in something that, even in one of the clay urns, if you were aging the tea in one of those for like 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, whatever it is, you would expect that the tea actually smells like incense. And unfortunately, that tea smelled like cheap incense. And so aging the teas, where you age them, how you age them, all of those things is extraordinarily important, especially when you are a gambler like myself. You just buying a little bit, whatever, you can try it out. It's tuition. But for somebody like me who's going to buy a lot of it, it's a big deal. Any thoughts on roast touch-ups on aging teas? Look at this guy going for all the tea nerd controversy. I do not take a firm stance on that. Some people are like, never. And some people are like, how can you not? I don't take a firm stance on it. When you're aging teas, each tea has a completely different character. And they have a completely different character based on the decade of when the teas are put away. And I think last live stream I told this story where somebody sent me an email and they said there was a 30-year-old Alishan that made them go to sleep every night and they wanted the same thing. And I was like, I can't, they're like, do you have a tea like that? I'm like, no, you will never find that same tea again. It will never happen, because a 30-year-old Alishan that was roasted, who knows when it was roasted? Who knows how many times it was roasted? It's never going to happen again. Only had a good touch up on Wui Yanchat. Well, Mr. Sleuth, one of the things when it comes to these types of things is if you had a really good touch up, you wouldn't even know you had a really good touch up. Because you could have, say, for example, okay, you got a 30-year-old tea. It was put away because it was too bitter. It just was like too wet when they did it. Then they brought it out 10 years later, and there was a little bit of a funk on it. And then they're like, oh, we put it away too wet. Let's just roast the crap out of it. So they roast the crap out of it, and then they leave it for another 20 years, and you get it after 30 years, and they're like, oh, it was only roasted once, or like we didn't touch it. It's 20 years old. You don't know. Then you got another one where, for example, I've seen this happen very often, is you would find a tea that you would just put away, and it was a decent tea, but there was a little bit of staleness on it. And then you take out the tea and then you roast it at like 70 degrees for 4 hours just to get rid of the staleness. And then boom, you've had this amazing tea, and they're like, no, we never roasted it. Okay, well, what did you just do there? And so you've got all these things that like, I don't take a firm stance on it, because aged teas, every single batch has a completely different soul, for lack of a better way. We want to go all woo-woo, it's got a different soul. I bought an early 90s Chinese Tieguanin. I wish I had more of that, right? You'll never find it again. You never will. And I like the 1970s oolong, which is it's not all that spectacular a tea. It's not like it's got a lot of depth, but it gets you high, right? You drink that tea, you're like, whoa, dude. I feel like I should just buy a bunch of it. Just buy as much as I possibly can, take out a loan, and just keep it, because you'll never be able to find a tea that clean from the 70s again. You'll never find it. And it's just one of those things where you just have to be like super careful about attachment to tea. I say this all the time, but tea can be like a meditation on impermanence, right? It's, you can, one of the most, when it comes to sort of bad reviews on tea, the most dangerous person is someone just getting into tea and realizing that each year is not the same. And they'll be like, this year's tea is not as good as last year's. Well, duh. Like this level of tea, it's completely different. And then as you get the ages of the tea, once you get the ages of the tea in there and different ways of aging it, it's there's no possible way of figuring it out. I figured the nuanced answer. Just throw the topic out there. Well, you got to test me, man. You got to test me, right? You're only as good as the last shipment you sent out when you're one of the tea people. Like, who knows? Maybe tomorrow I could go evil and just start selling Vietnamese tea that I roast the crap out and start calling it like, um, you know, uh, the devil's eye butterfly, and wrapping it in devil's eye butterfly packaging. Like you gotta test me out, man. Take nothing for granted. Trust, but verify always. But I have no plans on doing that. I'll never find it again. I just was typing it when you said it. Yes, yeah. I've been carefully aging about 100 kilograms of Chinese food Fujian since 2013. Yeah, I remember how you sent me a bunch of I remember you sent me a bunch of samples, and I quickly figured out that I was not passionate about Heicha. I was not passionate about it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going through the different samples and testing them out, but I was not fascinated by the Heicha stuff. How do you feel about aging tea in a plastic bag and exposed to the sun? Is this a trick question? Is this a trick question? Is someone filming me? No, I have strong feelings about that. In general, plastic bags should only be used in the rarest of the rarest occasions. And yes, I understand that the Mylar bags, the outside is plastic, which you should not learn too much about how they make that plastic. It's xenoestrogens and pee. But if you have that, the Mylar bags in a cool, dark place away from the sun, it's fine. As long as you air it out every once in a while and you pay attention, it's okay. Everyone has their passions. Yes. Well, who knows, right? Like if you really like the flavor of boiled plastic, then, go for it. Like that would be a really, really good idea. But no, I know a few people who expose tea in the sun. Hey, you know what? Exposing tea to the sun in the context of, say, for example, in the springtime, taking out your tea and maybe placing them in the sun, not in plastic, but placing it in the sun and letting it breathe a little bit every springtime, like if it's a tea cake. I think that's a smart thing to do. You have to experiment. You have to know what your climate is, and you have to know all of those things. But tea cakes are living things, and exposing them to the springtime sun for maybe a couple hours, warming them up a little bit, I think would be actually a really, really good idea. And I do that sometimes, depending on the year and my mood and the weather. But I'm not against exposing tea to the sun in very almost like an air and out process, like in the springtime, like you air out rugs or something like that. I think that's okay, depending on your own personal stuff. Sheer clear plastic, like a 50 kilogram bag. I could definitely see say, for example, you had an oolong and you were aging an oolong, and it was the springtime and there was warm sun out, and you had one of those big bags of the plastic. I know what you're talking about. Those are actually pretty good. They don't impart the flavor of the tea bag of the plastic into the tea for the first maybe 5 years, although you'd want to change the bag. I could see going outside, opening it up, getting the sun on it, maybe turning it around a couple times, because the sun is a healing thing in the sense of it will kill off, the UV light will kill off a lot of the stuff that's bad for us, right? So a lot of the sort of the things that might be bad for us. And so if you did that and you aired it out, if you really knew what you were doing and you were a skillful person to do that, I think that's okay. If you were aging the tea in a clay pot, like a big old clay pot, no, don't do that. No, for sure. Clay pot will do it. It'll take care of that type of stuff. But if you were doing it in a plastic bag, it's possible. It's possible. And remember, everything that I'm saying, I am talking specifically about aged Taiwanese oolongs. If, for example, you had 100 kilograms of hei cha, I have no idea. No idea. Don't listen to me. I have no idea, right? None. Hei cha, I have no idea, no clue. I am a babe in the woods. Do not listen to me at all for any reason about aging hei cha. But tea cakes, yeah, Taiwanese tea cakes, basically. But so take it with a big, huge grain of salt if it comes to Chinese teas. But even with that, I would say make sure that the sunlight was direct. Almost like taking out, like I could see a bunch of hei cha bricks and you lining them out in some spring sunlight, flipping them over for an hour, flipping them over for an hour, laying them on their side for an hour, laying them on their side for an hour, and then taking them inside, from like 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. sort of a thing, right? Springtime sunlight. I will say that type of hei cha really enjoy being periodically aired out. I believe that for sure. I believe that. Like I said, they're alive. They're living things. Absolutely. But laying them in the sun sound interesting. Well, you know what? I think if you have 100, you're doing it, you're learning all that stuff. You got 100 kilograms. I'd say take 1 or 2, maybe 5, like 500-gram cakes, or I don't know how the cakes are, but try it. I would say try it. But like I said, only the springtime and for a limited amount in the direct sun. But only springtime. You wouldn't want to do it in the summertime, because I found that the teas that have a lot of stuff in them, like a lot of deep living things, really enjoy the springtime, and they open up. The smells that come off of those tea cakes in the springtime are so beautiful, like really, really beautiful. Any other questions about anything? Throw them out there. I think we're getting close to the end. Aside from Taiwanese and herbal teas, do you drink other teas, Japanese, Chinese, etc.? Great question, and the answer is no, not at all. For Japanese teas, I've said this before, and please remember, this is not by any stretch of the imagination an objective statement, right? For me, I just don't particularly like the common Japanese taste points. I just don't particularly like umami. I don't like it. I don't like the sort of the roasted flavors. I like the Taiwanese roasted flavors. But so I don't drink Japanese teas at all. Again, it's just me, right? I love Taiwanese teas. And Chinese teas, number one, it's kind of rare to find them in Taiwan, like good ones. And two, I like to trust the teas that I get. And the problem is with the Chinese teas is because I don't know very many people in China, well, hardly any at all. And I've had like the best of the best of the best Chinese teas. Like I think it's called like Tio Sophie, or anyways, there's a couple of brands that I know the people, I've met the people, and I've had the best possible Chinese teas you could possibly imagine. And so my litmus test of what I would actually drink is the same with my Taiwanese teas. Like I don't drink substandard teas. I just don't. I never do. It's impossible for me to do it. It makes me sick. And so finding Chinese teas in Taiwan that would match what my discernment level for a good tea is so hard that I just basically can't find them. I'll put it past a few tea friends in Hunan where they make it. I no longer drink too much Taiwanese tea, but a baozong is my winter snowy tea. And drink what you trust. Yes, absolutely. Really, baozong's the snowy tea. I mean, I guess I could see it in the sense of yearning, yearning, yearning for the springtime. When it's really cold, I like some good CY Chen roasted teas or some Susan Pien's roasted teas. But let's face it, I mean, this weather where I grew up, the weather right now is like August weather. It's like late August. It's like, oh, winter's coming, and it's January 1st or December the 31st. I often see oolong tea on menus in Japan. It's the roasted suntory style, never green, exactly. And the vast majority of people who are new to tea, even like the Alishan oolong, they've never had a green oolong before. Never. They've never had a green oolong. And there's a bunch of different reasons why. The simple one being that you got to have them fresh, right? You roast a tea, you can leave it for a couple of years, nobody cares. The fresh teas, like this is, I want to sell out of this by the time the new one comes. Like over 1 year, and I'm like, like if I roast it, okay, I can go for like another 6 months or something like that. But, and that doesn't work in the Western market, right? That doesn't work because shipping it over and stocking it, and there's not the big turnover for teas. Baozong is as crispy fresh as fresh snow. Fair. Very fair. Very fair. I could definitely see it. But I haven't seen snow for a decade. More than that. My youngest is 11 and he's never seen snow. So I don't think I've seen snow for like a decade. I don't miss it. I do not miss it. I do not miss it. Again, not an objective value judgment, just subjective, just my own personal preferences. By no means am I making an objective statement. Snow's great if you're into that type of thing. I don't miss it. I don't. Anyways, so I don't really drink anything. Yeah, I don't at all. And I probably should, I guess. But in this point in the game, I know what I like. And I also, because I try and live like a clean lifestyle, drinking a dirty tea really messes me up. Headache, I feel crap for the rest of the day. It's like, so I try not to get out of my my comfort zone very often when it comes to teas. What do you think about a winter pick baozong or a winter high mountain? I mean, the site's full of them. There's the winter pick, there's the snow pick. The snow pick baozongs, usually there's a really beautiful flavor that comes out on them. And but they oxidize them a little bit more like a beautiful fruit. And the winter pick stuff, I mean, I enjoy them for sure. I enjoy them. There's nothing quite like the springtime picks. Wintertime pick, I don't know. They've all got their thing. The snow picks are completely different because snow picks are they have a completely different. They're very love it or leave it. The snow pick oolongs in the high mountains, cabbage flower, really strong vegetal, and I like them when they come out. But I like sort of like this. I'll try and find one. I'll try and find a high oxidized or mid oxidized winterized oolong. This year during Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, I always go to Taipei, and then I always borrow a scooter and go up see my buddies in Mutsa. So I'll do that, and I'll try and find and oxidized Baozong, because I can buy teas again. Yay! Finally, I can buy teas again. Do you ever collect mountain runoff water with those hoses like some Taiwanese do? Not really. I live in Hualien, and Hualien is literally mountain runoff water, right? So Hualien, the water here is literally, that's what it is, right? It comes from the mountain, comes down, and they pump it. So I don't really have to worry about water quality. The water quality in Hualien is amazing. I do use one like an RO filter in the sense of getting rid of I don't want like kidney stones and things like that. So I do do the RO water because it's really soft or heavy. Anyway, it's got a lot of calcium in it. But the tap water is amazing. And I just run it through the RO filter and then just boil it up. It's beautiful. But if I lived anywhere else, I sure as hell would. My good friend's father would fill up gigantic jugs that would last through the month. He would. He was also constantly brewing up Lishan and Fushoshan high mountain tea. Well, that's what you got to do. If you've got that stuff, if you've got the high mountain oolongs, brew best from the fresh water in the high mountains. And what you want, so to get totally tea nerd on you, the ppm, right? The parts per million of dissolved solids, the TDS, you want about 35 to 50. The water that comes out of the tap here is about 100, and it washes out the flavor. And so that's why I just don't boil the tap water. I do the RO. And the RO water is the RO water is like zero. It's not good for teas, but it's because the water is from the mountains, so it's okay. But the water from the rivers in the high mountains of Taiwan is about 35. And if you can get the water from the high mountains to brew high mountain oolongs, it completely changes the flavor and the nature of the tea. It really does. Everything changes. Everything changes. And you think you enjoy high mountain oolong, but if you're using that water to brew it, it's a completely different experience. And like I said, I'm I don't have to worry about it here in the sense the water here is pretty good. But I also used to take people out on the rivers, and then I dip the thing in the river and go and boil it up and do tea. And I miss that. I do miss that for sure. But like I said, it's not that much of a drop with the water here in Hualien. It's not that bad. But you do have to filter it. In the shop, I'll probably cheat. So I'll have an RO thing, but then I'll also use a little piece of charcoal and throw it in the pot. To be, But I can't cheat too much, or else people will take it home and be like, it didn't taste the same as when you bought it in the store. I'll be like, well, I cheated. Here, put this in your pot. So, yeah, got to be careful. Got to be careful. Anyways, like I said, it's going to be a big change. My family's betting on whether or not I'll actually be able to do it. I can be a little intimidating. I can be a little bit intimidating. Yeah. Certain places I don't go anymore. I just can't handle it. But it'll be okay. It'll be fine. I'll mediate it. It'll be fine in the shop. Anyways, I think that's it for now. Last questions for anything. What we covered today. 2 teas that will be in next month's subscription box. We got the Mayor's Alishan Oolong right here. And the house roast Mayor's Alishan Oolong, which is a little bit more nutty. It's got a little bit more caramelized sweetness in it and fruit flavors in the background and sort of a nutty upfront and aftertaste from being a little bit more roasted. There will also be a blind tasting of the regular golden Tie Guanyin and the competition Tie Guanyin. from last year. I haven't had that in a while. Used to taste like blueberries. I'll drink it probably in the next couple of days and see if I can pull out some more blueberry flavor from that. I might be able to. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I have a bunch of teas to release. I probably won't release them until a week from now. And I probably won't release teas this weekend, just because people get super pissed when you send out New Year's New Year's marketing emails. Like, super pissed. So I'll probably wait. Maybe on Sunday. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, thanks for entertaining the tea nerd questions. Well, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. And remember, if I cannot answer a tea nerd question, do not buy tea from me. If anybody can't answer the tea nerd question, don't buy tea from them, because they need to learn more, within reason. If they're nice and they're just starting out, okay. But if they've been doing it for a long time, like you go into a tea shop and you ask them a question and they can't give you an answer, walk away for sure, because you got to be passionate about this stuff. Got to stand behind it. Anyways, I got to go. Wherever you are, I certainly hope you have an amazing morning, night, evening. I hope you sleep well. Have a great day tomorrow. Have a great day for the rest of today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.